Okay, so this is chapter 29 of Tess of the Dubervilles, and it starts out with Tess finding out how the Jack Dollop story turned out, who, if you remember, is the man who had an affair with a dairy girl and then got put in a butter churn and abused by the girl's mother, who did not approve of it and wanted them to get married. And she finds out that they actually did not get married, but she did get married to someone else, but who was upset once he found out that she was not a virgin. And this is an important plot point because this situation sort of prefigures what will happen to Tess when she marries Angel, and gives her one possibility of what could happen if she tells Angel before or after they get married. So it creates some tension with the Tess and Angel story. This is Dairyman Crick vocalizing Tess's fear about telling Angel. This is when he's telling the story. He says, "She wanted a home and didn't like to run the risk of losing him." So this makes Tess a little less likely to tell Angel about her past, because that is the vocalization of what she's worried about losing Angel and his affection, but it also makes her less willing to accept his proposal because she doesn't want to pay that cost. So she sort of, at this point, is just wanting things to stay as they are. And then this is a quote from page 181, and it says, "Yes, there was the pain of it, the question of a woman telling her story, the heaviest of crosses to bear, but seemed amusement to others." So I thought this was an extremely important quote to not only just the chapter but the book, because it sort of sums up what Tess has been struggling with ever since she was raped by Alec. And it's that she has this extremely heavy cross or burden to bear, and she has to do it on her own, and that others are unaware of it, and it very much influences all of her choices and prevents her from engaging in things like amusement, where people think the story of Jack Dollop is hilarious. Tess finds it horrifying. And so this is a diagram that sort of outlines Tess's choices in the chapter. So first, Tess hears the story of Jack Dollop, and it reminds her of the consequences of not telling Angel and accepting his proposal. So when he proposes again, she rejects him. Angel was thinking for sure this time that she was going to accept him, so he's very perplexed by this, and he releases Tess instead of continuing to try with her. And so this release plus the Jack Dollop story are weighing very heavily on Tess's mind, and the story plus the release give Tess the strength to resist his proposal again. And this is another quote from page 182, and it says, "Her negatives were, after all, only the coyness of youth, startled by the novelty of the proposal." So this gives us some character development for Angel, where so far he seemed fairly benevolent as a character, but this sort of minimizes the importance of Tess's opinion, or that her choice to say no to marry him is consequential at all, and it shows that he's thinking she doesn't have any substance to her answers, and shows that he probably doesn't understand her or truly love her as a person. And this quote says, "In this way Claire persistently wooed her in undertones, like that of the purling milk at the cow's side, at skimmings, at butter makings, among broody poultry, and among farrowing pigs, as no milkmaid had ever been wooed before by such a man." So this is mainly a plot development, where it's showing Angel's persistence in wooing Tess, and it's showing sort of a turn in the chapter from where we're beginning, where it's looking less and less likely like Tess is going to actually accept his proposal, and here it's starting to turn towards maybe she will. So this is from the scene on the staircase where Angel addresses Tess as Miss Flirt, and I visualized Flirt as sort of barbed wire because calling Tess a flirt, obviously Angel doesn't know her past, but it would have been very hurtful for her because she was someone who was raped, who didn't bring male attention on herself, and she doesn't try very much in the book to bring any attention to herself. So calling her a flirt, which he means is this woman who is attempting to draw and procure male attention and then do nothing with it and have no good intentions, is very harmful and hurtful to Tess. And then